did also a cake. You do Cake Builder.
Yeah.
It's kind of on and off as I've looked it up. I think it started 2006.
It started whenever Burning Heaven came out, which was I think 2006.
Okay.
It started a year before that. Like basically the Burning Heaven and the first Cake Builder release were written at the same time.
Okay.
Like back and forth, and the two albums were released within a month of each other. So it was a pretty big deal because it went from like having neither of the projects signed to like one day getting a shipment within a week of each other
wow.
of both the albums. So
And they're very very different in a lot of aspects. There's even some drum and bass, I think, in some of it.
Like Cake Builder started as a joke. Like
Really? This is your project then?
Well, no, but it was
Okay.
in similar territory.
Okay.
Like, it was, it started out as like goofy IDM stuff, but done just as a joke, hence the stupid name that I'm now stuck with. I happened to play a couple shows under it, like Venetian Snares, who's from Winnipeg, and a friend of mine was playing some shows in Winnipeg, and I played with them under that name just for like shits and giggles. And then it started to get some recognition, so I stuck with it, and I couldn't give up the name. And then it turned into a serious project when I started to want it. Like I got really bored with industrial music, and I wanted to start writing breakcore. So I used that project for that, and it kind of went from there. Like right now, that project's kind of on hiatus because Distorted Memories kind of got, enough momentum that I can't keep up with the two of them. But it's always there on the back burner for when I have ideas or something that just doesn't work for DM. That's what.
Well, you want to ride the wave of what's going on with Distorted Memory. You don't want to lose the momentum on that.
Yeah, there's that. That's going well right now, and also the fact that I do a lot of like film work on the side. And this year has been really kind of hectic and busy with one of the big projects I've been working with on the side for film. Like just came back from doing this art festival in Iceland and stuff. And
nice. I'd heard that in interviews that you do a lot of work with film.
Like one of my good friends who I used to be in a band with a long time ago, he's like an independent filmmaker and a pretty like well-respected one in Canada and across the world. And I do 90% of his sound and music, and then from that I've also gotten some gigs on the sides.
Yeah, with what was the movie, The Magus?
The Magus, yeah.
Magus,
that's his. That's the recent project that was a huge ordeal. It was a 6-month project completing the film, and I was pretty involved in the actual production of the film too. Did that music, and then we decided to take that and turn it into a live performance.
Oh, wow.
Which is kind of difficult to explain, but basically we have 3 huge projection screens. There's a left and right one that's running point of view video from the antagonist in the film, so you see what he's seeing, and then the center film is the movie, except that James, the director, has something like 700 clips loaded live, and he's VJing them in time to the film, and I'm performing the soundtrack live over top of that. So that's what we did out in Iceland, and so that project alone left no room to do anything.
A lot of practice.
Else. Yeah, it was complicated.
Yeah, well, it seems like you guys were very well tied together in that whole project. So I didn't realize that. Actually, is there a way to get that? Because I tried to look up the movie and
see, and that's something like I've bugged James about many times. Like, can we not just put it online? And I guess the short film world is a little bit different than the music world, where they don't want that stuff all readily available because he makes his living and success out of films by it playing at festivals.
Okay.
Now festivals want exclusivity, right?
Yeah.
So they don't. If something's freely available online, they're not going to screen it. And I mean, this film has been screening at big festivals all over the world. And so once that's kind of run its course and you do that circuit, then it gets released online. And I hope that soon, because then I can direct people to see the film, but also see we recorded the live performance.
That's what I was just going to say, even a live performance.
Yeah. So right now there's a trailer for the live performance you can see to kind of get a feel for it, but in full length it's probably not going to be up anytime soon. But as soon as it is, I'll be letting people know.
Yeah, definitely.
It was like a labor of love, and I want people to see it. So
how long is that movie anyway?
It's short. It's I think it clocks at like 14 minutes.
Wow, so it's kind of a short.
Yeah, but it was 6 months of filming to do it, because there's a lot of, the gist of it is that his dad's a painter, and it circles around his art, and he painted these giant murals over 6 months, and there was time-lapse photos taken every single day, and then animated back, like coming to life. And so it was
and then all the different points of view.
and then all the different shots. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was filmed in Canada, France, and Germany.
Wow.
Like some of the shots of his dad going. So it was excessive.
I know that you've said in some interviews you wanted to kind of step away from the traditional style of industrial music and kind of go more of a world route. You found some music that you liked in world music more than you did in any industrial or any dark music. And I mean, I was kind of curious what you thought about within the past 10 years, industrial's really kind of made a lot of changes. And it seems to be kind of moving a lot towards techno or dance-friendly kind of tracks. What do you kind of think about that?
It's kind of weird because if you talked to me 10 years ago, my thoughts on the state of industrial music would have been that I really liked the sound of it and, what's happening in it musically, but I always had a complaint that everything was done kind of subpar in terms of production. It always felt like industrial music was electronic music's bastard brother that didn't really put the effort in that some other acts did. And then what happened is now 10 years later, it seems like the production values have skyrocketed and a lot of bands are putting in a lot of effort, but I feel like that certain sound that I used to love is kind of missing in a lot of current industrial, and it's become almost too much like generic hard house music.
Kinda, okay.
Right? Like,
gotcha.
And now, that being said, there's acts that are doing that in a way that I think is really awesome, and there's acts that I think are doing that in a way that I don't really like. So there, there's good and there's bad, but I don't know. I think it is probably a beneficial thing as a whole because I think having that kind of style brings more credibility to the genre, probably brings in some more outside, listeners. But at the same time, I really miss that certain really dark, aggressive music like from bands like Yellowwork and Hocico like 10 years ago, like that. And that's what I think is sort of missing to a certain degree, and parts of that is kind of what I hope to bring back.
Hey. Well, I mean, I listened to the Swallowing the Sun, and I kind of had it playing in the background, and I gotta say, like, it got to me after a while. Like, I didn't know what to think of it when I first heard it. I was like, Yeah,
and that's what that album is. It's not like, most people who hear that album for the first time will skip around, not really get it, because it is not an album that you put in and skip through 10 songs that start out boom, 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 and you hear the dance floor song that you want to dance to right away. It's not like that. It's like, it's the dark side of the moon of industrial, It's like, you gotta you gotta let it simmer and like listen to it. And my goal has always been never to be the biggest at any one moment. I want to have albums that 10 years later, when you go back to them, they still hold up.
Yeah.
I don't want to like have a song that's like a hit and sounds exactly like what every DJ is playing right now, getting huge success. I want something that when I look back on it, 15 years from now,
it hasn't aged.
I'm still like, that was the right thing to do at the time, So, and
awesome.
I kind of think I sort of accomplished that with that album. It's always still a,
There's a lot of elements in that album. Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's a little piece for just about everyone in there.
Yeah, the Cubase files for that album were pretty excessive. And the thing is too that a lot of people probably don't realize is all the ethnic and tribal portions of that album weren't just looped samples. All the tribal drums were like hand sequenced and recorded.
Wow.
All the vocals were like finding weird old rare like Middle Eastern songs and cutting out parts and gluing them back together in a way and pitch shifting them to make them work with the track. Like, it wasn't just, hey, let's download, Sounds of Arabia volume 12 and slap it on there. Like, you're not going to hear like that same like tabla drum loop on the next Tiesto track because it's something that I made myself. So.
You guys have anything to say for anybody that I might not have brought up?
Well, I don't know. I guess I want to say, I'm glad to be in the States here finally, and that all worked out, and I'm glad that there was a promoter that was willing to have the balls to, bring us down, and hopefully we'll be back for lots of shows.
I hope so too, yeah. I'd like to see you out in Phoenix maybe.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Willing to travel. Yeah, it's been really fun. Like this trip, I think we've so far had a really positive experience, and that's with all the work you have to put in to make it happen,
Sure.
You've got to see that. I mean, and we've seen that now, and I think at this point so far, I mean, we're only here for 2 days already, but it's definitely something I would want to do again. And, that seems worth the work, for sure.
Well, hopefully more festivals will start opening up, and kind of, I know there's a few that have kind of started up and in the States, but it seems to be kind of prevalent, obviously, in Canada and other countries. But even just touring a couple of places, getting the word out, I think people will really start to pick it up.
Yeah, it's good, and you need people like promoters like Chris, who's doing this show, like to take a chance and
Sure.
to go out, put it all out there, and try and develop it, right? Like every festival has to start somewhere. You got to take a chance.
Sure. Well, I thank you very much, guys. So I'll see you on stage.